Good evening. This is the December 18th, 2024 meeting of the Newcastle Zoning Board of Appeals. We have a few extensions before we start our regular agenda. Mr. Secretary?
Lasardi and Cohen.
Hi, I'm Robin Song, the architect representing Alexander Lusardier and Michael Cohn. The reason we haven't been able to do the construction yet, it's the finishing the attic, is because the sprinkler drawings have not been approved yet, so we do not have a building permit. And we have to wait on that.
And do you have any idea how long these approvals may take?
I mean, it's been submitted a while ago.
Documents have just recently been submitted and are with the fire marshal being reviewed. I would say at least within 30 days this will be.
And how much of an extension are you looking for?
I gather another 6 months if that's available. I didn't know, I
Is
thought
it
it was an
just-
automatic 6 month
Is it
extension.
just your sprinkler documents or do you have?
Yeah, everything else for the third floor has been approved. We
What
don't have a
about- what about-
contractor yet either.
What about contractors?
No, we don't have a contractor
You don't
yet.
have a contract? Okay, we'll make it easy.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that you make it a 6 month extension to start and you're gonna finish.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your extension?
Okay,
Good
thank you.
luck.
Next is Phillips and
Hi there. Hi everyone. We're requesting a 6 month extension for the variance that we were granted last February as we are reducing our budget on the project based on the pricing that came in on the original bids. And it's taking us a bit to get new bids and the financing sorted, so we're requesting 6 months to finalize that.
Any comments from anybody? No comments. I think that's reasonable. We'll make a motion, we grant you a 6 month extension, you're to finish after that.
I second
Thank
the
you.
motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your extension, good luck.
Appreciate that, thank you.
You're welcome.
Goodman and McNamara.
Hi, this is Emily Goodman, the homeowner. Looking to get an extension of our permit to do some updates to the outside of the house to add a window box. We've just been delayed getting contractor prepared, but now have somebody on hand and looking to start in February, March. So looking for a 6 month extension.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, how much extension are you looking for?
So we would be looking to start in February, March, and then would expect construction to be complete within 6 months.
Oh, complete within 6 months, that's pretty optimistic.
You probably know better than I do.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we give you a 3 month extension and completion within a year.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your extension, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Flannery.
Good evening. My name is Michael Cardoso, I'm the contractor putting in the generator. And we're looking for we're looking for a variance on a rear yard setback from 40 feet to just 19 feet. I don't remember the original date of the house being built, but it was probably sometime after 1791. But prior to the setbacks being set.
Built in 1932.
Okay. Sorry. The location of the generator,
Mhm.
can you tell us why you picked that particular location?
Well, yes, It's near the gas meter, it's near the electric meter. It makes for a much cleaner, easier installation.
Reasonable. Okay. I have no problem with this. Anybody on the board have any comments
Nope.
with this one? No comment. Anybody in the audience or online who would like to comment on this application?
No hands are raised.
There are none. I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You want me to do it? You can do it.
Okay, I make a motion that we grant a 21-foot rear yard variance to John and Susan Flannery at 19 Gray Rock Lane for the following reasons. The location, first of all, it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot. The location of the particular generator was chosen because it was near the gas and electric meters. I believe we have a letter from a neighbor in support of this.
Two of them actually.
Two letters, okay. Therefore, the granting of the variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby parties. In fact, I think most of the neighbors have generated in similar fashion. The benefits sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by any other feasible method. In fact, the order generator and the location is chosen as the best location. The requested variance is substantial, but there is no other feasible way to do it, or this is the best way to do it. There are probably other ways to do it. It will not have an adverse effect or impact upon the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood. As I mentioned before, there are neighbors who have written in support of this variance. It is potentially a self-created hardship in the respect that they historically need a generator, but this is probably the best, this would be serving the family the best. Therefore, I move that we grant the variance with a 6 months to start, a year to finish. Tom,
Survey, please.
and we'll need a survey for that.
Final survey upon completion.
On completion.
Upon completion.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your variance. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorrel and Driscoll. 9 Ridgewood Terrace.
Hi, good evening. My name is Elaine Driscoll. I'm here for a 6-foot variance to complete a patio renovation that was started this past July. I'm the homeowner, I'm a public servant, I'm a working mom of 2 little kids. My husband John would be here tonight with me, but he's putting our youngest to bed, and our 3-year-old is stretching her bedtime routine. We moved to Chappaqua in 2019, before we had any kids. The house has been a perfect home to start a family in. We now have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. When we moved in, I have 2 photos to show the board. The first is a photo from the day that we moved in with the U-Haul still in the driveway. And the second is of the patio that's behind our house. As you can see from both photos, when we moved in, the patio, the flagstone patio, was in somewhat of a state of disrepair. Flagstones were falling off, it was covered in areas by pachysandra and weeds. And as you can see in the second photo, you can see the proximity to our neighbor's property, to our neighbor's driveway. So this past July, after our kids sort of became mobile enough for it to become a safety hazard, we wanted to repair the patio. We had a contractor who said this could be done in about 5 days. On about day 3, after the prior patio was demolished, our neighbors reported us to the board. We worked pretty closely with Tom DePole, with Bob Scioli, and with a local architect to permit the portion of the patio that's not within the setback. And now essentially what we're doing is asking to complete the renovation so that we can continue to use the patio as we had before this whole project began. The reason for the location is really so that when we're inside in the kitchen, we can see the kids out back. Our house is rather small, it's under 1,600 square feet. We like making use of the outside areas of our home. And this patio has really enabled us to do that, and we'd just like to continue using it the way that we had been for the past 5 years without incident. This is not a substantial variance. It will not have an adverse impact on the physical condition or the environmental condition of the neighborhood. Thank you.
1 minute. So the patio that's existing is legal?
Correct.
You're permitted for that and it's all approved?
Correct.
And you just wanna add a small piece to that to make it a little bigger?
That's correct.
Am I getting that right?
That's correct.
Okay. I don't have any comment. Anybody on the board have a comment
You
about
said
this?
something about 5 years?
Well, 5 years is when we moved in. We moved in 2019.
Oh, okay. So that patio's been there for 5 years.
I assume much longer based on the state of it,
Yeah,
but
right.
since we've been there, yes.
The original patio was there when you moved in, then,
Correct.
okay.
The flagstone patio.
Yeah, the flagstone one, and you're just trying to improve it.
Correct.
And also, just so I understand, the extension that you're proposing here would enable you to see what's going on with your children outside from the kitchen, is that, you can't do that currently?
We can see outside. This is just a completion of the patio and the footprint that was previously there.
So without the proposed addition to the patio that you're looking for, is it usable in any way? I know I drove by there and it looked pretty narrow to me without it.
The current patio is
Correct.
is narrow, yes.
Yeah.
It's about, I don't wanna tell you an exact percentage, but I'd say it's about half the size of the previous patio.
Oh, I see, yeah, okay.
Because it was also, this flagstone patio jutted into the driveway and we reduced that size.
Okay, yeah. No, I just happened to be in that neighborhood and I drove by and it looked pretty narrow and I can understand what you wanna do. I'm sympathetic to that. I can't speak for the board members, of course, but I'm familiar with it. And so before we go any further, any other board member have a comment?
And the only variance, right, is the 6 foot, there's no coverage or anything else, it's just that,
Just the
just
single
the side
story.
yard variance.
Yes, the side, okay. Okay, is there anybody in the audience or online that would like to comment on this application?
Hi.
Nobody online, but we have one here. Please state your name and tell us what you're thinking about.
Hi. I'm Elizabeth Hameston. I live at 98 Bischoff Avenue in town in a similar lot with similar constraints. And for me personally, I'm familiar with that property. I grew up next door, and the extension, from what the homeowner said, they have removed the part of the patio that was on the far side where they do not have a neighbor and they have a ginormous side yard. And they are now trying to add patio within the side setback next to the neighbor's property where the houses are very close together. And essentially there's a narrow driveway and a little bit of a side yard that separates these two houses. So I wanted to address that from my perspective, that it's disingenuous also from the site to say that you can see children better with this new arrangement, because the way I don't actually believe that the new part that they're proposing would have a line of sight, because the corner of the house doesn't have a window. So I think they actually had better line of sight when the patio was previously there. I don't know that patio was ever brought before the town. I believe it was not, and it did create a impenetrable surface, and the runoff on the adjacent driveway is of concern, and the fact that this is a raised area that they were able to get approval for that changes the slope of that area is concerning. But I really just wanted to, as a fellow resident and a young person who hears someone talking about their project, just clarify that I do not believe that the line of sight is fixed in this new arrangement. I think it's worse. I do not believe that they ever had approval for the square footage of the coverage. I think one of the esteemed board members had asked about how many variances are in play, and I understand that they have somehow approved permission for the quote unquote existing patio, and I was not privy to that process. And the entire reason why the town was alerted to the construction was in part because the contractors on site were saying they had a permit, and upon investigation, it turned out they didn't. But that's what I'm gonna close out in terms of my personal concerns about the characterization of the patio and the history. And then if you'll allow me, I'd like to make public comment on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Farkas, and read off a letter that they would like to submit on their behalf.
Has it already been submitted to the board?
I'm going to hand it over now.
It's a little late for us, I'll let you read it, but it doesn't mean we're gonna take it into consideration. It should have been submitted prior to the meeting, so we could have reviewed it. But
Okay,
I'll let you read it into the record if you prefer.
I would like to read it into the record, and I would have them read it, but they're very up in age, and so they have asked me to do the representing here.
Believe me, I understand up in age, I'm there too. Please read it.
Sure, and this is a signed copy.
Can you pass me?
Can the applicant have one also?
If I don't have an extra, I can give her this one, but
You can take mine and then I'll reach out.
Sure.
You don't have to read this.
Okay. Dear esteemed members, so this letter is coming from Charles and Edith Farkas of 11 Ridgewood Terrace, the homeowners next door. Dear esteemed members of the zoning board, thank you for your time and service to the residents of the town of Newcastle. You play a pivotal role in helping ensure our town maintains its best features and that as a community, we all put sufficient care into property development decisions. We have been the owners of 11 Ridgewood Terrace for 57 years. While we have seen lots of changes in our neighborhood and in this great town, most have come with much more consideration and care than the owners of 9 Ridgewood Terrace have demonstrated with their actions over their relatively short time as residents of Newcastle. We have oftentimes been surprised by actions they have taken, yet we were reluctant to take up the town's time and wanted to maintain good neighborly relations. However, recently they have lied to us about having permits for work being carried out on their property and did not follow town code, see Table A. Table A lists activities that the current homeowners have done on their property, which to Edith and Charles's knowledge were unpermitted projects that caused adverse impact on 11 Ridgewood Terrace. We believe that the actions taken by our neighbors at 9 Ridgewood Terrace violate our rights and pose undue adverse impacts on us, as well as creating unsafe conditions for both properties while avoiding town oversight. After being yelled at by the owner of 9 Ridgewood Terrace, John Sorrell, in response to raising concerns about a portion of my hedge that spanned 20 feet, including native trees, and was clear cut, and the other owner, Eileen Driscoll, screaming, "Why do you care?" at my daughter, to whom I was showing the issues, it is hard not to feel they are trying to take advantage of our advanced ages and good nature.
We have reached our threshold for what is tolerable. Therefore, we are writing to you to shed light on the situation and ask for your help in overseeing activity at 9 Ridgewood Terrace to reduce disagreement and enable a respectful and fair process that abides by town codes. To the issue of property boundary, we share a substantial side lot border with 9 Ridgewood Terrace. Since we have never had any issues with any of the previous owners of 9 Ridgewood Terrace, there is no survey or property line markers we are aware of to help us establish the boundary along which the variance is being requested. We are concerned that the variance requested and data submitted may be inaccurate. We have a fence along the back of our property which turns and ends with 2 side panels. The fence has established a physical boundary for over 2 decades. The neighbors have alleged that we are standing on their property when we are standing on what we believe to be our property. Can you help confirm the property boundary? Would it be reasonable to request a surveyor at their expense, or does our fence establish the boundary via adverse possession? At this time, we feel that they are rushing to secure approval without adequate understanding of what is theirs and what is the impact of the changes on the entire environment. Even the approval of the retaining wall earlier this fall seemed to skirt the law, effectively allowing for a grade change along the property border with significant impact on water flow. There is no record of a terrace or patio approved previously, and the wall they built retains a raised patio with an impervious surface sloped to send water away from their house and towards the boundary with 11 Ridgewood Terrace. We put together Table B for the requested mitigation envisioned so far by us laypersons in consultation with experts, but not deemed to be exhaustive for this variance, as well as work previously performed at 9 Ridgewood Terrace. For this evening, we would like the town to hold off on a decision regarding Mr. Sorrell and Mrs. Driscoll's request to override the zoning laws and instead direct the owners to mitigate work done previously and resubmit their drawings with confirmed property lines and measurements for the variance. We appreciate your guidance in this process and thank you for your time. Respectfully, Edith and Charles Farkas, 11 Ridgewood Terrace, Chappaqua, New York, 10514. The Table A is an exhibit that says 9 Ridgewood Terrace activities since 2019, current owner. Number 1, performed interior construction work, cutting tile, etc. that resulted in new HVAC units on the exterior of 9 Ridgewood Terrace. None of the new units are shielded from view, and one is particularly an eyesore for us from multiple rooms on the left side of our home and certainly when we are outdoors. These units also generate noise in addition to being unsightly. Number 2, cut down mature trees and burned them on their property. This was prior to the no burn order, but it is now our understanding that Newcastle has a total ban on burning leaves and yard waste. It is our understanding that no permits were filed and no trees were planted to replace the loss of this grove. This may have exacerbated their flooding in the basement and yard, leading to the request to build the raised terrace. 3, clear cut a 20-foot wide opening into our hedge for which they did not give any explanation. This destruction included cutting down at least 2 native beechnut trees we had intended to allow to grow. 4, installed gutter extensions and placed large stones around the side of their home, reducing the ability of rain to permeate the ground evenly and at max disbursement, increasing runoff and decreasing absorption and putting the gutter too close and perpendicular to the neighbor's property. 5, put an impervious surface close to a large mature tree when expanding the unpermitted terrace. Table B, considerations for mitigation of activities on 9 Ridgewood Terrace, including but not limited to the grading of the side yard, to the granting of the side yard variance. 1, replace the 20-foot hedge, trees and hedge removed without permission at 9 Ridgewood Terrace's owner's cost. The hedge provides a dividing line for the 2 families and prevents toys and kids from crossing over. It is imperative that it be replaced before the construction curtain is removed, as not all vehicles have backup cameras, and the removed hedge was the only barrier between the 9 Ridgewood Terrace unapproved terrace play area and the active driveway next door. 2, drainage swell along property edge to ensure water doesn't flow onto the adjacent driveway from the impermeable surfaces and new slope. Patio and gutter leads and impermeable stones currently displace water onto 11 Ridgewood Terrace. Alternatively, if the larger patio project is abandoned, then simply removing the extra gutter leads might keep the water away from the neighbor's property better without incurring cost of drainage. 3, HVAC, screening for noise and sight. 4, agreement on how close to the property boundary the grill and other outdoor kitchen equipment will sit to address fire safety and air quality concerns. To date, it creates a ton of smoke on adjacent property, including inside the house, meaning 11 Ridgewood Terrace. If a terrace is closer to 11 Ridgewood Terrace border, how can sound and site privacy be enhanced? What about visual clutter of too many cooking grills and equipment? Is there anything you want me to add? Okay. So that is respectfully submitted on behalf of Charles and Edith. Do you have any questions?
Okay, do you have any questions, board? Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, taking into consideration the coverage on the property. Property with the proposed coverage of the addition to the patio is well within the coverage requirements of the town. The building coverage allowed is 2,854 square feet, and the proposed building coverage is only 1,249, so there's no problem with that. With regard to development coverage, the development coverage allowed on this piece of property is 4,620 square feet. With the proposed coverage, if the variance is granted for the patio, you're only at 3,575 square feet, so there are no coverage deficiencies on this property. Okay, with regard to drainage, the drainage on the property is as it is. The patio, the old patio that was there didn't create a problem. This one, I don't think is gonna create a problem either. I mean, if you have questions about that, you can address the engineering department, which is out of our purview, we're not engineers here. And if the drainage is an engineering problem, then it could be addressed. With regard to the tree cutting, if the trees were cut illegally, yes, there should be some repercussions for that. I'm gonna query our building inspector. Are there any outstanding violations on that property with regard to building coverage violations, tree cutting violations, et cetera, et cetera?
Mr. Chairman, there are no violations.
There are no violations, so anything that was done on the property was done legally, therefore it is out of our purview, I'm sorry to tell you that. As I have said before, I am familiar with the property. There are, as you say, houses are close by in that neighborhood. We've done many projects in that neighborhood. We've reviewed many of them. We understand where you're coming from, but that's the nature of the neighborhood. I personally do not have a problem with this variance. It's a de minimis variance, and granting it is not gonna create any undue changes to the character of the neighborhood. If any of my board members would like to dispute me on that or add or subtract to that, please do so.
I concur with the chairman.
Okay. With regard to the property line, we have a survey that shows everything is okay. If you would prefer a survey to counteract that, you have every right to hire a surveyor and have a survey drawn of your property showing where your line is with regard to their property line. That is not our purview. It's totally up to you if you wanna do that. If you do it and it shows that there's something wrong, then it will have to be addressed. If you do it and it shows that there is no problem, that will alleviate the questions in your mind. Right now, there is no question in my mind, or as I can see in my colleagues' minds about the property line. Yes.
Excuse me. We were told that having a fence for, I think it was like 15 years, or there was some amount of years, that once you have a fence, it establishes the property line.
Absolutely wrong. Your property line is your property line delineated when the properties were subdivided. before all the houses were built in that neighborhood, you could put a fence on your property anywhere you want, it doesn't make it a property line.
Okay, so
Property
we
line-
don't have adverse possession in Newcastle.
But what you're talking about is, I believe is a civil, and I'm not, I'll defer to the town attorney, what you're talking about is potentially having the right of adverse possession in the civil action. And I don't think until any such action is brought or determined, that the property line is anything other than what it is today,
Okay.
so.
And when I measured, it seemed to me that the property line was not like the way when I looked at how close the patio was to what I believed to be the property line, my measurements were not what was submitted. It was substantially closer to the property line. So in my measurement, their current patio is on the property line, which is I think why it was originally done the way it was done. And I do believe it would be violating the property line to allow this to proceed, but I will leave you guys to decide.
I'm gonna reiterate what I just said.
Right, that I can see.
You can measure all you want, I can measure all I want, we are not surveyors.
Right,
We
but
do
you're
not have-
asking a
we don't-
57-year-old, a 99-year-old
No,
to
it's,
spend his money surveying a property that he has lived with these boundaries for 57 years, and you're asking him to go out of his way to prove his boundary in order to avoid an adverse event on an adjacent property.
I'm not asking him to do anything, what I'm telling you is that we have a survey in our packet by a licensed surveyor that shows where the property line is and shows where the patio is going to be and shows that it's a 6-foot variance that's required. If you wanna
Who's the
dispute,
surveyor?
if you wanna dispute the surveyor's measurements, you have every right to do so at your own expense.
Can you clarify in the packet who is the surveyor? Cause I didn't see a surveyor in there.
How is that relevant?
I just wanna know if I'm going to approach this, that would be the first person I would ask how they decided on that property line.
The surveyor in this question was Harold Campbell, who has been a surveyor in Newcastle for probably 60 or 80 years. I mean, his son now has the business, he started the business, he's been here forever. He's a licensed surveyor, he's well respected, and we always trust his measurements. If you wanna dispute them, like I said, you have every right to do so.
So just so I understand procedurally, he took the 1953 unstamped survey and translated that into measurements, is that how that works?
I don't know where they came from, that's,
We're
again,
not surveyors,
it's
as
out
the
of our
chairman
purview.
said.
We get,
If it's helpful, I can weigh in a little bit here too. I think if there's a property dispute, your dispute is with the other, or the landowner's dispute is with the other landowners. The town is not a party to that. That's a civil action between two landowners. It's not, it's way beyond the purview of this board, and the town wouldn't even be a party to that. So it's really just frankly got nothing to do with the
thank you
what
for
we're
that.
here for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much for your
You're welcome.
time.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to this application, pro or con? Online or in person? No.
Online, Chun Sui. It's regarding to extend the special use permit for the
We're not up to you yet.
Sorry.
We're not up to you yet. We're still working
Oh,
on
okay.
it. Be patient, we'll be there. Okay.
You're gonna make a motion.
Okay. I move we close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
This is yours, Tony.
Okay, you got it. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that the application of the Sorrel and Driscoll application for a 6-foot side yard variance to construct an addition to a patio be granted for the following reasons. The existing patio is relatively small and does not give the applicant as the usefulness that it should do for them. There will be no change to the undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood by the granting of this variance. There is no other method, reasonable method to achieve the benefits sought other than granting the variance. This is not a substantial variance, it's 6 foot, it's de minimis. Well, this is a self-created hardship in that the owner knew or should have known that he would require a variance for this. The benefit to the applicant will far outweigh any detriment to the town or the neighborhood. And if you can give us final survey, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Final survey upon completion, you'll have 6 months to start and 1 year to finish, and I move that we grant.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your variance, good luck.
Okay. Next is CNY Relax Bodywork.
Yes.
Okay, now you're on. Hello,
Sorry.
good evening.
Good evening.
So could you want to explain what you need to do, or shall I do it for you? Because this is relatively straightforward.
Extension for the permit for CNI body work,
Right,
for store, yeah.
okay. Before we go forward with this, I want to once again rely on our building inspector. Has there been any complaints or issues with this parlor since the last time that we granted?
The morning
The last 3 years?
Mr.
No.
Chairman, no violations of record.
No violations of record and no complaints from the neighbors or the
No complaints from the
the
neighbors,
budding businesses or anything like that? No, okay.
none whatsoever.
Is anybody in the audience or online that would like to speak to this application? Any neighbors, no. Board members, any comment on this one? Board member? Okay. I move we close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
I'm gonna make a motion that we grant a 3-year extension on the special use permit for the CNY bodywork. They have been running a business now for this is our third extension? Or 6, how many years have you been there?
76.
Pardon me? How many,
82 이호로
so that's that's a lot of years. I'm not gonna do
long
the
time.
math. They've been there for a long time. We can figure the math out later on.
Yeah.
They have been good neighbors, they have run a legitimate business without any complaints from neighbors, budding businesses or departments in this town. And therefore, I would make a motion that we grant them a 3-year extension on their special use permit.
And I second that motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your extension, we'll see you in 3 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayot.
Yeah, of course, okay. So representing Stephen and Cassie Maya at 9 Gregory Lane, we want to add onto the house. The house as is sits on top of a hill, the back drops off like 25 feet down, the front, there's a little bit of level property on the side, but the house also has no basement, no attic. It's 2673 square feet now. The owners love the house, but they're running out of space, especially storage space, and part of this is even expanding the garage because they have no place to put a lawnmower or a workshop or anything. So the house is a pre-existing non-conforming, so you don't really have that many choices of where to expand. So there's 4 different front yard requests. The largest request is a 20-foot setback, 20-foot variance for steps to the porch, which I don't know if you guys have the drawings. I can show you a larger site plan, and I also have so let's see. Okay, this is probably a little bit easier to see. And I can show you. So, the property drops
Can you
off
get the
this way.
microphone and
Yep.
because you know what happens,
Let me get.
you won't be heard on TV, we
Okay.
don't wanna miss that.
I can.
You just pull that out and carry it with you. There you go.
Okay. Right, I can show you photographs as well. But you'll see that the back of the property is very, very steep. This is like the only level property here, so we're gonna add one room there that we can get. And this is a little bit level here, so we can only go out a little bit, on this side before the whole driveway gets affected. Going out 10 feet in front, which is all we can do to get a path for the existing stone wall. So we're trying to, can I show them again?
Sure.
Yeah, so we're trying to maximize the house as much as possible where we can. So yes, this is the steep grade here, there,
So
the retaining wall.
this is the addition or?
Yeah, wherever attached is the
Here.
addition, and this is a porch addition.
So this is addition also.
Right, so these steps to the porch would be the closest.
Right.
And we're gonna come out another 10 feet from the side yard setback, so that's
Maybe show it
Yep. Come down here. Okay, so steep back, steep that way, this retaining wall, it's steep that way. It's a little bit flat right here. So that's why we can get one room here, we're gonna go over the garage, only come out 2.5 feet and then 10 feet there, which just allows us to get a nice path before the existing wall set there. And then this is just, a little addition in the back to circulate through, because adding a mudroom, adding closets, it's really just adding, a lot of storage and.
Boring things.
Yeah, and except for the nice master bedroom we'll get above the garage, but
What is the total square footage that you're adding, do you know?
yeah, so it's 956 between, it's 288 in the first and 668 on the second. And some 322 of garage space.
So
It's way under the allowables, yeah,
okay. So it's 986 plus the 322.
yes. 956,
Oh, 956
Yeah.
plus 322.
yeah. So you wanna see pictures?
So it's 1278.
So this is the house now, and then I have some neighbors, so if you wanna start, you can see the slopes. I'll start you down here, so neighbors. I tried to locate them on the map, so this is their property. A is Shingle House, so you see the back of this house, this is the one really next door. This house is from Scott, this isn't even contiguous, but it's from, you can see it at a distance, and then that's the one I'm bringing. Yeah.
So can you just,
Neighboring houses.
oh, that's the neighboring houses.
Yeah.
Can you just first for my knowledge, just enunciate, so I see you have, let's say, 3 areas that you're building.
Yeah,
So one is a garage,
yes, extending the garage and then building over the garage, put
okay,
a second floor over the garage.
and then isn't there another section that you're doing as well?
Yeah, just on the,
If you could just
probably
tell,
easiest to see it here. It's just
And
an
that is
office here.
an office,
Yeah.
okay, so you extended the garage and then over the garage and then you're adding an office on
Office
the
and
other
then and then the front porch,
and the
just
front
to
porch.
make the house look nice. We're gonna straighten the second floor wall, so.
Have you had any comment from the neighbors, pro or con? We don't have any letters in our file, but
Yeah, I know Stephen and Cassie spoke to the neighbor that's, you know, the closest one, this house, yeah. But I think they were fine with
Okay.
that.
that sounds good,
Yeah.
just for the record.
Yeah, the neighbors are not really close, but. I mean, if anything, I think we'd be improving the house.
Comments from the board?
Nothing from me.
Additional comments from the board? There's nobody in the room to make a comment?
That's good.
Do we have any comments from somebody online?
No hands are raised.
No hands are raised, we're clear. In that case, I'll move we close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You took a lot of notes, you should read them all.
I'll do it, okay.
I'll do it if you want.
No, I'm fine. I took a lot of notes. Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we grant to Stephen and Cassandra Mayotte at 9 Gregory Lane the following. For a two-story addition with garage expansion, there is a front yard setback, front yard requested variance of 18 feet. For the covered front porch, there is a requested front yard variance of 18 feet. Is that the same 18 feet?
Here. Yeah, I mean, it's
Okay,
it's to this line, to that line, the 20-foot is to the step.
okay.
Yeah.
For the covered front porch steps, again, a requested front yard variance of 20 feet. On this one-story side addition, it is a side yard variance of 10 feet. And then for the, I guess, is that still the same of the side, the one-story side addition, it's a front yard variance of 14 feet. And for the side deck, it's a side yard variance of 7 feet for the following reasons. There is no basement in this home and there is no attic. The house is very much on a hill on most or all sides. The home is currently a pre-existing non-conforming house. The need for the garage, for instance, is there's no place to put a lawnmower or any other garden tools. So the request for the variance seems very reasonable. The total amount of square footage that's to be added is 1,278 feet. The granting of the variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The benefits sought by applicants could conceivably be achieved by other methods, but given the fact that the house is on a steep hill, this is probably the best way to achieve the need that this family has. The requested variances are substantial in nature, but again, as I mentioned, this is a pre-existing non-conforming piece of land. It will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood. There are no neighbors who are present or have written in opposition. It is a self-created hardship in the respect that this does not have to be built, but the benefits will certainly outweigh the potential hardship. Therefore, I move that we give a variance for with 6 months to start, 1 year to finish, and we need a
Foundation survey and a final survey.
foundation survey and a final survey.
Foundation will be prior to framing, so we make sure you're right. I'll second that.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
You have your variance, good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Make a motion that we approve the November 20th, 24 meeting minutes.
I second the motion.
Chairman Giordina.
Aye.
Mike Nolan.
Aye.
Ron Genzeg.
Aye.
Warren Gottlieb.
Aye.
Kathleen Darazan.
Aye.
Adjournment is in order. Before we adjourn, I wanna wish everybody happy holidays and a happy new year. We won't be seeing you until 2025.
Thank you, same to you, Mr. Chairman, and everyone else.